Hey, good morning. Good to see you. See you. Y'all can have a seat. You know, last week, polling showed that 60% of Americans are very, very concerned about the cost of healthcare. My question is, what about the other 40%? Aren't they concerned as well? I would think it'd be about 100%. But some might suggest more government intervention or subsidies is the answer. We know that government involvement only makes things go up. When you get government involved, we see prices continue to skyrocket. So instead, in Oklahoma, we took a common sense approach, and thanks to Representative LePack, who spearheaded this great legislation, and we took after President Trump did an executive order. What we did was codify that here in the state of Oklahoma. And really, it's asking for transparency in pricing at hospitals. Pretty common sense for consumers, for Americans. We want to know, and we should be able to know, how much things cost and not be surprised by humongous medical bills. So now as a patient, you can see the cost of services up front before you actually go in to the hospital. You have the opportunity to shop around to find the best service, the best price possible. And we think that's really, really good. It happens in every other industry, but somehow the healthcare industry has done a really good job of hiding the prices and not letting it be transparent with the consumers. But we do it whether you're buying a car or going to the grocery store. It's just common sense for us to be able to know how much things cost, and that is common sense. So I have Cynthia Fisher here with me today, and Cynthia is the president of PatientRightsAdvocate.org and has just done an amazing job of advocating for pricing transparency in the healthcare industry, and works directly with Secretary Kennedy and Dr. Oz and President Trump in rolling out his executive order. And then Oklahoma, which she'll tell you about, is leading the way, as we always do in Oklahoma, with common sense and putting consumers first, making sure that we have transparent pricing. And so first state in the country to do this type of transparent bill, which is, we believe, going to lower, and that's the ultimate goal, going to put power back into the consumer's hands, going to lower healthcare costs across the state of Oklahoma. So we're excited to get this done. And so I want to turn it over to Cynthia. And thank you so much for all your hard work and for advocating for Oklahomans and helping us get this bill passed. So Cynthia, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Governor.
Thank you. Please.
Well, thank you, Governor. It is absolutely exciting to be here today because November 1st, you change history, really being the leading state in the country to protect patients and to help lower cost of healthcare by pulling back the curtain, making hospitals show all actual prices in healthcare so that we would know before we go to get a colonoscopy or an MRI, what is the price you're going to pay. And what has been the case that as long as hospitals and insurance companies have kept their prices hidden, they can charge whatever they want. And that's exactly what has happened. And what has happened in the shadows is there is wide price variation as we're starting to see the prices come about because the President Trump has put forth radical price transparency and executive order to see actual prices across hospitals and insurance companies across the country. However, Oklahoma will be the very first state to make it happen that the consumers are also protected, that if they didn't get the price, then no one can come after them for medical debt. That's the hospital or any collection agencies if the prices weren't transparent and there up front. And the other thing is this law protects consumers to say if they've been harmed by overcharges, they also have a private right of action to go after the hospital for way overcharging them beyond the prices they were to have paid. What type of price variation are we seeing? We're seeing for things like a colonoscopy, sometimes 10 times price difference in the same hospital with the same team. One patient may pay with their plan $1,200, and another patient may be billed over $12,000 for that very same procedure. And we see an MRI. When you can see an MRI, a cash price for an MRI is around $300. And cash is so much cheaper than where we see the insured rates, averaging in a hospital sometimes around $3,000 and as high as $7,500. Why would anybody want to pay thousands of dollars more when they don't have to, when they could see they could get it at a far lower price? So seeing discounted cash prices, and Oklahoma has also led with Dr. Keith Smith and the Free Market Medical Association over decades, has led to pull back the curtain and directly show the cash prices and the same price to all patients. And those prices are often far lower, where you know you're going to get an ACL repair somewhere around $6,000 all in versus paying over $60,000 in an opaque hospital. So competition's a great thing. Free market's a great thing because we all know how to shop. And now patients will have a leg to stand on when they can get prices in advance of care. And then when they insist to get the itemized bill, know whether they've been correctly charged or not. And for employers in the state and for the state health plan, think of how remarkable this bill will be. That means every employer plan should be able to design their health plans to help steer their members and their families to save money and to go get the care they need when they need it at prices in advance they know they can afford. And so copays or deductibles can be saved into family budgets and be used for homes and food and other use for education for their children. But why allow the healthcare system, which is now nearly 20% of gross domestic product in our country? That means we're almost working one day in every 5 just to pay for healthcare. We need to put these trends in reverse and be competitive, and Oklahoma is leading the country. So I thank you for this and want you to know our organization is a nonprofit, philanthropic, and starting November 1st, we have put access up for all Oklahomans on oklahomahospitalprices.org. oklahomahospitalprices.org will have the actual files for all of the Oklahoma hospitals that they post to put their prices in an easy to find tool and a comparative tool for all of you and all the members of your families to be able to search for affordable healthcare and have certainty before you get your bills. Thank you so much, Governor, and thank you so much, Representative LePage, for the leadership that both the Senate and the House have put in place this remarkable and very important bill into law at this critical time for our country to lower the cost of healthcare. Thank you.
I don't know how much I could add to that. This was one of those make sense bills to me. I don't know anybody that's ever complained about transparency if you're a consumer or a taxpayer. Only those who kind of hide behind lack of transparency are against something like this, in my opinion. So it was a make sense deal, but there's a few other little things in the weeds of the bill that I think I might point out. And one is it's not just the prices and cash discounts, but you also see the maximums and minimums of the negotiated reimbursements from insurance companies. That's something that we all talk about, the rising costs of healthcare, the rising costs of insurance premiums. But if you could see in the institution you might want to use the difference or the ranges in just those, it might ask you or cause you to ask a few questions about the carrier you're using. And while this bill isn't specifically about health insurance, I think it provides a better informed consumer of those services. And over the long run, if we ever want to get control of healthcare costs and still be the best in the world at delivering those services, we have to have a better educated patient population. So that's one of the reasons I ran it, and one of the reasons I really like it. But appreciate all the kind words. There were a lot of people behind the scenes working this. It wasn't just me. Senator Murdoch actually initiated the bill over in the Senate. It's a Senate bill. We started it over there. There were some strategic reasons for that, mostly limitations on how many bills House members can carry, and I was carrying too many, so I asked, please start that one over there. So I don't really have anything else to add to that, but thank you, Governor. Thank you all for coming today.
Representative Keats also.
Senate Bill 889.
It's an honor to be here. I'm Dr. Keith Smith, co-founder of Surgery Center of Oklahoma, co-founder of Free Market Medical Association with Jay Kempton. I think it's important to know that you can't have legislation like this that enforces price transparency unless everybody agrees that it's possible. Not that long ago, this was something that could not be done. There was no way you could attach a price to a medical service being provided. I don't think it's a reach to say that the idea that a price can be attached to a medical service originated right here in Oklahoma, and it's something we ought to be proud of. That the nation is really watching what's happening here. The Free Market Medical Association, which is an Oklahoma organization that was Jay's brainchild, is now in 37 states. And so this idea of free market discipline that every other industry must endure, I think is raining down on the industry, and it will do exactly what Governor Stitt said. I think we'll see prices fall and quality soar. But this couldn't happen until the prices were attached. People realized it can happen. And then the brave businessmen and women and individuals in the state of Oklahoma decided to purchase their care through this alternate model. So it's a very exciting time. Jay and his clients and we at the Surgery Center of Oklahoma, I think, feel very vindicated at this point, given how not that long ago what you're seeing here was said to be impossible. So thank you.
The how much of the procedures, these mandates, is there a reason we made it all 300? Is that just 300 for popular procedures?
The 300 procedures is really for the beginning of a shopping tool. However, now, like I said, the Oklahoma hospital prices tool will show all of the prices for every procedure by every code. So the bill actually is consistent with the transparency for all hospital, all bills by every insurance carrier, all prices by every insurance carrier and every health plan, and the discounted cash price. So to post everything they have negotiated and everything they have priced. So it'll be fully complete for all. Thank you.
In the Oklahoma that can be a place where people can go and shop on the state website. And then as a second part of the question, who monitors
So the Department of Health is overseeing the compliance here. And as far as where they're posting, where does the bill say they have to post? I know your website is going to be putting it out there, but is the hospital, every individual hospital also has to post their 300 top procedures?
Plus all of the procedures.
Plus all the procedures?
All the procedures, yeah.
Okay.
They can make it an easy shoppable tool for the consumer for the 300, but on their hospital website, they have to post by law all of their procedures and the discounted cash price.
And, I don't know if you caught this, but one thing that I was very impressed with is, we've all had relatives or friends. We've heard about people that, somebody got sick in their family and they spent 3 or 4 days in the hospital or a week and they got this $50,000 bill. They're just, there's no way. Well, what's going to hold people accountable now? They have to go back, and now that we know the pricing, you can't all of a sudden just throw a $50,000 bill out. It's got to be posted. So that is a great protection for people to know what things are being charged. When you go to the hospital, you now are going to know how much is this night in the hospital going to cost me. And I think that's really, really important for self-insured plans, for the state plan, for individual consumers, just the overall to hold down the cost. And then, Dr. Keith Smith didn't really tell his story good enough, but he has pioneered in the country this idea to have transparency in the hospital situation where you know what the knee replacement is or hip replacement. It's a bundled price with the anesthesiologist, et cetera, et cetera. And he's leading the country. People are flying in from around the country because of this transparent pricing model. They know exactly what they're going to be charged. And their outcomes, by the way, are top shelf with all the other hospitals around the country. So he pioneered right here in Oklahoma City.
Bill, for the governor, can you tell me what the state is happening in the rainy day fund to help staff?
Well, first off, this is a problem that Congress has got to fix. This is a federal problem. The shutdown right now that has been going on, we're watching it in the news between the president and the Democrats in Congress. I just want to make sure Oklahomans understand this. This is what we call a clean CR. In other words, there's no additional spending. This is exactly what the spending was in the Biden years, and all they're asking for is a clean CR. We've had 3 Democrats come over to our side to fund government. We need 6 more. In the Senate, you need a threshold of 60. So, as governors, we've stepped out from the National Governors Association and said, hey, listen, let's pass a clean CR and fund the government, because states cannot afford these federal programs. In Oklahoma alone, it's $130 million a month on SNAP benefits. So we are working with nonprofits. We're working with our food banks. We will be doing things later on this week. I encourage all Oklahomans to go to our beaneighbor.ok.org. And if you feel like you have some food insecurity issues, you can sign up there. It'll tell you exactly where to go to get help. And then also, if you're a church, we want churches to step up, our food banks. If you want to donate, we want you to know that you can go to beaneighbor.com, beaneighbor.ok.org. And but everything's on the table. The reason we're fiscally responsible and we have the largest savings account, I've constitutionally maxed out our savings in Oklahoma since I've been governor. I took over with no money, and we now have more money than we've ever had. I can't even put any more money in our savings account constitutionally. But we have about $3.5 billion. So we're looking at everything. We want to make sure that Oklahomans are taken care of through this Schumer shutdown, is what I call it. But Congress needs to act. I just want to be really clear that this is a federal program, and it's not just SNAP benefits. You're talking about it's going to affect eventually a lot of programs that we have in the state of Oklahoma. So we encourage Congress to get that fixed. Yeah, I do. What's interesting is not near the problems in Oklahoma City as we had in Tulsa. We don't have the final numbers yet, but our team has done a really good job of cleaning up. We started what we called Zone 1 around the I-40 corridor. And listen, and I'll tell Oklahomans this: I'm not solving homelessness. Okay, that's up to the churches, the nonprofits, the mental health facilities. But I am going to enforce the law, and I'm going to make sure Oklahoma's clean, and we're going to get people the help that they need, and we're not going to let people. It's not compassionate to leave people underneath an overpass sleeping as well. So we're going to do this. We've been working with Key to Home. So we worked with them initially so they could go out prior to our enforcement, and they could get people into some homes and get people the help they need. Nobody went to jail, but we've told them very clearly, we will take you to get help, or we're going to take you to jail. But we're not going to allow you to keep, breaking the law by camping in different areas around the state. So it's going well. I'll have more numbers for you. Tulsa, we cleaned up over 2 million pounds of debris, and we've gone back to make sure that people aren't coming back to those areas again, and hopefully people are getting the help that they need, and that's our ultimate goal.
I need to come back here to take a picture.